Hi, I'm Lisa Soland, Senior Editor at Climbing Angel Publishing, and today I have the pleasure of having a little conversation with Jon Bonjour, and he is partnering with Climbing Angel Publishing as one of our main illustrators, and we're so excited about the projects that are in the works. But certainly we want to talk about the books that you just did. I will name them and then we can discuss one at a time. But Carly Sommier, her book, Wheels Off, you illustrated for us, and it was just released this week. And then Joni Caldwell, her book, I Like to Be Quiet, which is about a little girl who's a little quieter than the others in her family. And Jon shared his gifts with Climbing Angel Publishing by illustrating those two books. And we get to talk with you today about your wonderful illustrations. They're so colorful and fun.
Oh, thank you so much.
Aren't you related to Joni Caldwell somehow?
I sure am. I'm her nephew, and she is my Aunt Joni, and she is wonderful.
Wow.
She's the one who got me in touch with Carly first, and then with you, Lisa. Just in doing the book that I did for her, I Like to Be Quiet. She kind of introduced me to a bunch of the people that in that kind of circle. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a wild ride already.
When you say wild ride, what exactly do you mean?
I mean, I had done one children's book before getting in touch, with my Aunt Joni about doing that. And it was a lot of fun. I had a great time with it. But then I just kind of went off and did other projects, figuring, that'll probably be the last one I do, kind of a weird side project. And then she came and she said, hey, do you want to, I know you like to do the art for these things. Do you want to take on another one? And I went, of course, for you, I do, of course. And then it's become very quickly something that I take great joy in it. Like more than I thought I was going to, just in drawing for children's books. There's such a joy to that I wasn't expecting.
Wait, have you thought, you're an artist, so of course you've thought of everything, but have you thought about where the joy comes from?
Absolutely. I've been thinking a lot about that. So I have more of a background in like comic book art, which I still completely adore, superheroes and all that. But the thing that I've found that I love about doing children's books is it's someone's very specific passion project. So it's something that the writers, like I'm not a writer. I write the occasional story for a comic or whatever, but I'm not an author of that caliber. So it's when I get to read these stories, especially children's books, there's just so much care put into them and so much heart into these stories that are going to go out to children. Like there's just something about that is so pure and so carefully put together that I just adore.
Well, you become a writer in a sense as an illustrator, maybe not a writer, but you become part of the storytelling team, and you participated in that team so well with both Carly's book and Joni's book.
Thank you.
And of course, I got on the phone with you right away and said, tell me all about yourself. I want to know who you are.
Yeah, it really is fun to be a part of that process.
What is that like to get, well, specifically, what was it like to get Carly's book, Wheels Off, published by Climbing Angel Publishing? What was it like to get her text, her book, and then start to imagine along with her what the illustrations would be?
It was immediate. I mean, I was reading it, she sent me an earlier draft of it, but then she sent the official final draft of Wheels Off, which is just such a beautiful story. I love that story.
It's about bullying, a little bit about.
It is about bullying. Yeah. And it's, and it hit me pretty close to home. I think everybody's had that on some level in their life. And it was that was just the way she approached that was so beautiful. And her storytelling really is so visual that I was, I was reading through it, and I couldn't help but think of how I was going to frame certain pieces, or the energy to, every once in a while, this little kid, Henry, he'll fall, and she doesn't describe it as, oh, and then he fell. She describes it as he took a tumble, or, he fell hard. And it's just this, it's so like imaginative and exciting in the way that she does it, that my artist brain kicked in instantly, and I couldn't help but think of how I was going to do it.
Good. So I'm thinking like there was like innate storytelling ability in you for you to, whenever we execute our gifts, we're like so happy.
Oh yeah.
And I just really have a passion for helping people build confidence in them to pull their gifts out of themselves, because I know the joy that lies in the process of doing that. And there was this ability in you that, you're exploring and definitely succeeding at. I can't wait till our reading audiences see what you've done with these 2 books. And you and I have a couple of projects too, but we won't talk about those yet until they're actualized. But for those of you out there that don't really know the job of an illustrator, this is one. This is the book that's now out by Gareth Brookshire. He's my nephew, and I'm his aunt, like you and Tony.
Yeah.
And he is, look at this poor sweet boy. His name in the story is Wayne, and he does not have a winter jacket. And part of it, the story has to do with our protagonist, Fred, giving this little boy his winter jacket, and the 2 of them being warm, one looking really good and one maybe worn. But this is the job of an illustrator, to lay out a story like this, to take the ideas of the writer and maybe some of their ideas with where they think the illustration should go, but then bringing all the gifts that God gave them into that story. So the story becomes multi-gifted.
Yeah.
Right. That must be where you're sitting right now, discovering the joy of doing that.
Oh yeah. It really is incredibly gratifying to see that. And you're right, there is something to that multi-gifted element of it. Like I've done other projects, and I enjoy it. I think they came out great, but there's an extra level of excitement to these projects for me, of this is with someone else, and I'm working together with these writers and to create something together, and that's really cool.
It is cool. So I noticed this about you. You're really good at collaboration. You're a good listener, which is tough to find. You listen, but then you also contribute. You're like,
well, thank you.
Foundation. So when did you start to draw?
So I've been drawing, I think like everybody has, kind of all of my life, but I really decided this is a thing that I want to pursue when I was about 12. That was kind of I had a lot of phases of wanting to do a lot of things, but drawing's the one that really stuck. And it's been since then that I worked, some would say obsessively, I would say obsessively, to try to get that.
But it felt natural to you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was all I wanted to do.
We're driven and clear-minded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it became clear to me very quickly that this is what God intended for me. This is something that he gave me specifically.
Joni Caldwell, one of my writing masterclass artists, she shared with me that wherever you go, if you're sitting in an airport, you have your little book with you that you've had, all along, and you sit there, and unbeknownst to the to the victims that sit around you, you're sitting there and you're looking at them and studying their face, and you're sitting there and you're drawing, and you have filled how many books since you were 12?
Countless. It's been, I do. I always have something, especially when I go on a trip, when I go to a place, you know, that I know there's going to be other people and different kinds of people. You know, you go to school or whatever and you see the same people every day and all that, but then you go to an airport is a great example, or to a coffee shop, or, you know, the DMV, and then you
Oh.
you see some really interesting people, and hopefully they don't find out that you've been studying them, but sometimes they do, but hopefully they don't. And then you just, you know, I just love the characters that you see.
I have a little idea I want to just throw out there to you. It
Yeah.
just kind of occurred to me that maybe you would allow Climbing Angel Publishing at one point, with all the other projects we're doing, that you would allow us to publish a book of your works.
Oh, that would be so fun.
You know, you could pick out your favorite works from the time you were 12, you know, and we could create a book of your early works all the way up until now. So
Oh,
I don't
oh,
want
that
to
would
see your
be
age, but
that would be a joy. Yeah.
you're a young, talented man, and it's exciting to see these opportunities come your way.
It's been very exciting for me to just get in touch with people, and, you know, and that really is where it's been coming from for me. I haven't been looking to do children's book illustration necessarily. It just kind of, I fell into it, and then I found you and all of you. I mean, you and Carly and of course my Aunt Joni, but are all just such wonderful people and so easy and incredible to work with, and just it's been so much fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, God's been really good to Climbing Angel Publishing. I really see it as his ministry, and I'm humbled because I did not set out to do this either. You know,
Yeah.
I when I was your age, I was dead set on, you know, being an actress in on the stage and in film and television, and I moved out to Los Angeles. So it is interesting, the journey that God takes us on to wind us around to doing something that maybe we didn't expect,
Yeah.
but suddenly we find we're quite suited for it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? We're ready. We have the gifts and the fortitude, and there's the opportunity.
And it just feels right.
And it just feels right. Where can people go to see more of your work, Jon?
I have a website. It's www.jonbonjourart.com.
Say that again. It's www.
jonbonjour.com. That's JONBONJOUR art.com.
art.com.
Yes.
Okay, so jonbonjourart.com.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's where I've got everything, and I'm on social media and all that, but that's not the best place to find my personal work.
Right. It's good that you have a website, because
It took a long time, but it was worth it.
So tell us what it was like to work with your aunt on your second book, but it was her.
Yeah.
I like to be quiet. And some of your, well, it's based on, as she has talked about in her interview, it's based on her family, her child, right? Quiet child. So you actually knew the people you were drawing. What's
for sure.
that like?
So the whole process was really interesting, and the best way I can say this is it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because there's always, when you get into doing work with a family member, there's always a little bit of, this could go horribly wrong and there's nothing I could do about it. But then, I mean, you know, she's of course so wonderful and so talented and creative. And so any concern that I had about that went out the window minute one, because I read her story and I connected with it, and she's just so wonderful to work with.
Her personality from the moment you began, I'm sure, just put you at ease.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just, I hadn't done anything in a professional capacity with her before that. And, you know, not that I was concerned about that, but there's always that little bit, but she just immediately set the tone for it, and it was just a very good, creative, productive relationship that we're building, kind of finding a new relationship in that relationship that we already had. And that's just fantastic.
Well, she couldn't say more good things about you. And then,
Oh.
and I called you, and then I too joined in on the on the party, and I couldn't say, enough good things about you. So Climbing Angel Publishing is very excited and honored to have you as part of our team.
Oh, I am too.
And me as a writer, I'm excited to work with you on, and to see, what your vision, adds to the story that was first executed by the one who writes it, it's all so much fun. So both these books that Jon Bonjour illustrated can be purchased at all online leading bookstores, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and ones like that. All you have to do is search it. I know that Carly Saumier's books are not yet released on Amazon, or they are, but it's kind of confusing. It's not an exact science, I have learned, but you can purchase hers, which Jon illustrated, on Barnes and Noble, and her book is called Wheels Off! And Joni's books are available everywhere, Joni Caldwell, and the title of her picture book that Jon also illustrated is called I Like to Be Quiet. Carly's book deals with bullying, and also right alongside of that plot is also him learning how to ride a two-wheel bicycle, taking those training wheels off. And all the adventures that ensue because of that. And then Joni's book, I Like to Be Quiet, is about a little girl who likes to be quieter than the rest of the members in her family. And we're finding that there's a lot of people that resonate with that. I myself was super quiet when I was a little girl, and I don't think I spoke much at all until I was in 5th grade, and then I've never shut my mouth since, I think. But Jon, it is wonderful to talk with you. I hope that people that watch this interview go to your website, jonbonjourart.com. And you can also go to climbingangel.com, or you can email us at climbingangelpublishing@gmail.com. We do hope that you are edified by Climbing Angel Publishing's children's books. We have a lot of them, and there are certainly going to be a plethora of brand new books for 2021. So please pay attention to what we're doing, like us on Facebook, and let us know how you're liking our books. Jon, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you, Lisa. It's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.